12 money habits that keep you broke, and how to fix them fast. You may be losing money every day without even realizing it. It's not because they don't work hard or because they don't know how much comes in and how much goes out, but because there are silent habits, small slips that repeat in the routine and drain their account. It's like carrying a leaky bucket. You put in effort, you put in time, you put in energy, but you never see the bucket full. The truth is that many smart, determined, and full of potential women remain trapped in the cycle of receive, spend, wait for the next paycheck. This doesn't happen due to a lack of willpower, but because certain financial behaviors have been normalized, as if they were inevitable. But they are not. Today you will discover what these invisible habits are that keep you broke and, more importantly, how to break this pattern quickly. We will expose what no one talks about, bring clarity to what was hidden, and step by step, show the way to turn the game around. Get ready, because each part of this video will show you something you can change immediately to regain control, peace of mind, and freedom of choices. The first habit that keeps you broke is living without a spending plan. Many people call it a budget, but that word already carries weight and even resistance. So think differently. If you don't decide where your money goes beforehand, it decides on its own, and it almost always goes where it shouldn't. Every impulse purchase, every forgotten subscription, every just for today, ends up adding up more than you imagine. Without a plan, you work the entire month to fill holes that never end. And the most dangerous part is that this seems normal. You convince yourself that everyone lives like this and leave it for later. But while you postpone, time passes, bills increase, and the feeling of always playing catch-up only intensifies. The solution is not to complicate their life with gigantic spreadsheets, but to create a simple map that shows exactly what comes in, what goes out, and what needs to be prioritized. It's giving every dollar a destination before it slips away. And when they start doing this, they discover that there is room for what really matters, including saving without suffering. That's just the first step. And if they thought planning was already essential, wait until they see the next habit, which seems harmless but steals their financial freedom in an even more subtle way. The second habit that keeps them broke is relying on the credit card as if it were an extension of their salary. The plastic gives the false sense of freedom, but in practice, it is an invisible leash. Every time they swipe the card without thinking, they are signing a silent contract with the highest market interest rates. The issue is not using the card but believing it solves their life in the short term. They buy today, push the bill to tomorrow, and before they know it, they are trapped in installments that accumulate month after month. This cycle turns money into an illusion. They no longer know what is actually theirs and what belongs to the bank. The way out is simple but requires courage. Treat the card as a tool, not as a crutch. Use it only if the amount is already separated in their expense plan. And if it's not, take a deep breath and say no. This no in the present is what creates room for a much bigger yes in the future. Now, if the card already has them trapped, the next habit will show why so many women keep running endlessly, working without ever feeling real progress. The third habit that keeps them broke is spending first and only then thinking about saving. This is the classic trap. They receive, pay bills, buy what they desire, and in the end, try to see if anything is left. And guess what? There's never anything left. Because money follows the order you give. If saving is the last priority, it always disappears first. This behavior creates a cycle of frustration. They even promise that next month will be different, but the routine swallows that decision and everything repeats itself. It's like running on a treadmill. A lot of effort, no progress. The secret is to reverse the logic. Upon receiving, first separate the part that goes to you, whether for savings or investments. This is the famous pay yourself first. It doesn't matter if the amount is small in the beginning. What matters is the discipline. When they change this order, they discover they can live with the rest and, little by little, build a solid future without relying on luck. And if you think it's hard to change this mindset, wait until the next habit, because it shows how the excess of small financial decisions can drain your energy before you can even start saving for real. The fourth habit that keeps you broke is living in a constant fatigue of financial decision-making. It seems harmless to spend energy choosing every day whether to order food or cook, whether to pay a bill today or leave it for tomorrow, whether to use the credit card or debit card. But this excess of micro-decisions drains your clarity and pushes you towards automatic, almost always bad choices. When their mind is already tired, they tend to opt for the easiest, and the easiest is rarely the smartest for their wallet. That's how delivery orders become routine, how small online purchases accumulate, and how real priorities are set aside. The result: more stress and less money. The solution is to create systems. Decide once and automate. Set up automatic bill payments. Define weekly spending limits. Establish a routine of planned purchases. This reduces the mental burden and ensures that their financial choices do not depend on how they are feeling that day. And if decision fatigue is already robbing them of their energy, the next habit reveals something even more treacherous: the illusion of status that leads many women to spend to prove their worth, without realizing the real price of this trap. The fifth habit that keeps you broke is spending money to sustain an image that does not match what you really need. It's the illusion of status. Clothes that don't fit the budget, dinners to impress, products that serve more to show off than to use. All this creates a fleeting sense of worth, but steals their freedom in the long run. Social pressure makes this trap even more dangerous. They see on social media the standard of living that seems to be the norm and believe they need to keep up in order not to fall behind. However, the truth is that no one posts the overdue bills, the hidden installments, and the weight of financial anxiety that these choices bring. The antidote is redefining what status means to them. True power is not in showing off what they bought, but in knowing they have the security to choose. Being in control of their money instead of being a slave to appearances is the most elegant form of freedom. And if spending to impress is already a prison, in the next habit they will see how ignoring debts can turn into a snowball silently growing until it crushes any attempt at balance. The sixth habit that keeps you broke is pretending that their debts don't exist. Ignoring statements, avoiding opening bank apps, letting the bill grow in the dark seems relieving at the moment, but only exacerbates the problem. Debt is like mold. The more you hide it, the more it spreads and corrodes your financial foundation. This behavior creates a cycle of fear. They avoid facing the numbers because they are scary, and precisely because they don't face them, they grow even more. What could be solved with simple adjustments becomes a suffocating burden. Getting out of debt starts with the courage to face it head-on. List all debts, even if it hurts. Put deadlines, amounts, and interest rates on paper. Then choose a clear strategy. Tackle the smallest one first to boost motivation, or the one with the highest interest to alleviate quicker. It's not about speed but consistency. With each step, they regain power over their own life. And if ignoring debts is dangerous, the next habit reveals an even more silent enemy: the absence of an emergency fund, turning any unforeseen event into a financial catastrophe. The seventh habit that keeps you broke is living without an emergency fund. While everything is going well, it seems unnecessary to have money set aside. But all it takes is one unexpected event, a health issue, an unexpected layoff, an urgent expense, for everything to crumble. Without this reserve, each unforeseen event becomes a debt, and each debt steals your peace. Lacking financial security forces you to make desperate decisions. Selling something in a hurry, accepting poor loan terms, delaying other bills. What could have been just a scare turns into a domino effect. The solution is not to amass a fortune at once, but to start small and be consistent. An emergency fund begins with the first amount set aside and grows month by month. It's the cushion that softens impacts and provides the freedom to breathe when the unexpected arises. And if the lack of a reserve already exposes you to huge risks, the next habit reveals something even more common: underestimating small daily expenses that seem harmless but drain your account without you realizing. The 8th habit that keeps you broke is underestimating the small day-to-day expenses. Those quick coffees, in-app purchases, fees that seem insignificant. Individually, they may not seem scary, but when added up, they create a silent hole in your budget. It's the invisible leakage effect. It's not a big expense that brings you down, but the repetition of the small ones. The problem is that these expenses come disguised as a reward. They deserve it after a tiring day. It's just a treat. The issue is not the amount but the frequency. When each treat becomes routine, it ceases to be a pleasure and becomes a trap. The solution is not to cut out all the small joys, but to bring them into consciousness. Take note, add up, see the real impact. When you realize that that daily coffee could cost you a trip at the end of the year, the choice gains another perspective. Controlling is not depriving yourself, it's deciding clearly. And if the small expenses are already silently draining their financial energy, the next habit shows how the lack of investments turns their money into a prisoner of stagnation. The 9th habit that keeps you broke is leaving your money idle, without investing. Keeping everything in your checking account or savings account may seem safe, but in practice, it means losing value every day to inflation. Money that doesn't grow shrinks. And while you work hard, your stagnant balance works against you. This habit stems from fear and lack of knowledge. You may think that investing is complicated, risky, or only for those who already have a lot. But the truth is that not investing is the biggest risk of all. Because while you wait, time, which is the main ally of financial growth, is slipping away. Change starts with information and simple action. There are safe and accessible options for any profile that allow you to multiply what you already have. The first step is not finding the perfect investment, but getting out of stagnation, putting your money to work alongside you. And if leaving money idle is already a costly mistake, the next habit reveals why so many women remain trapped in the cycle of overdraft and easy loans, believing that this is a solution when, in fact, it is the most profitable trap for banks. The 10th habit that keeps them broke is using overdraft and easy loans as if they were an extension of their income. The bank offers it as a quick solution, but behind this speech lies a calculated mechanism to trap you in the most abusive interest rates in the market. Every time you go into overdraft, it's like you're paying rent to use your own money, and this rent never stops going up. The problem is that this line of credit seems harmless. You cover a bill here, pay another there, and suddenly you're living with the feeling of always owing. The short-term tranquility bought turns into long-term anxiety because the negative balance never gives you a break. The solution is not to ban the use of credit, but to create discipline so that it does not become a crutch. If needed, use it only with a clear payment plan and strict limit. Even better, create your own reserve so you don't have to depend on banks. That is true independence, not being at the mercy of hidden fees and promises of ease. And if easy loans already imprison you, the next habit will show why living without clear financial goals is the perfect invitation to repeat the same mistakes every year. The 11th habit that keeps them broke is living without clear financial goals. When there is no goal, money gets lost in small daily decisions. You may say you want to save, but without a defined destination, that intention dissolves along the way. It's like driving without a map. You spend fuel, time, and energy, but you don't get anywhere. The absence of goals makes each spent dollar seem justifiable because there is no comparison to something bigger. But when you set a goal, whether it's paying off debts, building a reserve, or investing to achieve freedom, each choice gains context. You start to weigh whether that immediate expense is worth the trade-off for the future you desire. The key is not just to have goals, but to make them specific and measurable. It's not enough to say, "I want to save." They need to decide, "I will set aside X dollars per month to achieve such objective by such deadline." This kind of clarity creates focus and turns discipline into habit. And if living without goals is already a costly mistake, the next habit closes this list by showing the root of many problems. The lack of financial education, which keeps people trapped in cycles that could be broken with applied knowledge. The 12th habit that keeps you broke is living without financial education. Without understanding how money works, every choice becomes trial and error, and the cost of these mistakes is usually high. You work, earn, pay bills, but still lack clarity on what truly makes your money grow or disappear. It's like playing a game without knowing the rules. Each round, the winner is the other side. The lack of financial education perpetuates the cycle of dependency. You lean on shallow advice, follow trends that don't work, and believe in miraculous shortcuts. Meanwhile, the simplest decisions, such as saving, investing, or avoiding bad debts, are still being neglected. The path to break free from this cycle is not about accumulating complicated theories, but learning practical fundamentals and applying them every day. The more you understand about budgeting, interest, investments, and planning, the less vulnerable you become. Financial knowledge is freedom because no one can take away from you what you already know how to use to your advantage. And if the lack of financial education is the root, the conclusion of this video will tie all these points together to show how changing habits is not just about money, but about regaining control of your life. You just saw the 12 habits that silently drain their account and keep them trapped in the cycle of living to pay bills. The most important thing is to understand that it's not about perfection, but about awareness. Each habit they recognize and replace opens up space for a lighter future, with choices made by them and not imposed by circumstances. Money is not just math, it's behavior. Small mindset changes, when added together, create a powerful effect. Planning before spending, building their reserve, investing wisely, setting clear goals. All of this is not a distant theory. It's practical that transforms their daily life. And here's the most liberating point. They don't have to wait for the perfect moment. The turnaround begins now, with the decision to choose differently in the next expense, the next salary, the next month. Because every step, no matter how small it may seem, is a brick placed in the construction of their financial freedom. Remember, breaking these habits is not about living with restriction, but about achieving peace of mind, security, and time for what truly matters. That's the real meaning of prosperity. Money made easy helps them save with lightness, peace of mind, and time for life.